Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. Let's go over the major pivot on Bitcoin. You've heard this story before. It's the daily 500 period 1.25 standard deviation. The exact same pivot that managed to hold trend in the previous bull run. Right now, you can enter a very good profit ratio long position. Just be aware, if you are using a market stop, it is very likely to trigger much lower than you anticipate due to the high likelihood of a short squeeze coming out in this area. All right, last time we saw this kind of insane compression was October of 2018, when we finally did break that support value. We saw stop market order after stop market order immediately trigger, and in a single candle on the daily chart, we dropped down 15%. Now, if you actually went back in time and looked at that in the lower time frames, you'd notice that it happened in just a matter of minutes. It was not a pretty scenario to see all that price action dropping all at once, and that is because stop losses beget stop losses. When you have a stop loss trigger in a zone with very low liquidity, you typically end up with a cascade effects of electronic orders triggering electronic orders, right? Because who places a buy order here? If you have a long-term defined support like we saw over here, do you want to place a buy order there? No, why? Well, it's because it's a break of support, and you know that if you're going to break support, you don't want to immediately buy if you have the beginning of a new downtrend. You want to buy after you see signs of reversal, right? So just be aware if you're on leverage or if you're longing right now, keep your stop loss tighter than tight, all right? I know you might get wicked out, but if you really want to long here, just wait for the uptrend, okay? That's your safest bet. So yeah, you can long here. You could also short here. Actually, you could place a stop market short order below support so that when stop losses beget stop losses, well, you're going to be riding that wave for profit and not for risk mitigation. All right, you see what I'm doing there? So just be aware that you also need a stop market order to the upside if you decide to play that way, because if you're entering a stop market entry, first of all, you're going to have high fees if you're planning on doing leverage. I don't recommend doing leverage on that kind of thing. One, because you're not manually entering the trade, and two, because there's just a high chance that it'll be a liquidity hunt and immediately just wick down and then immediately back up, which is what we've seen in the past, right? If you can identify a low liquidity zone, play it pretty aggressively, but not too aggressively, my friends. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at those lower time frames because we do still have some pretty good information down here. Looks like we are starting to get the beginnings of new trend. We aren't. All right, so here's the problem with Wave PM. If you have high volatility previously, any kind of new volatility or new trend is going to appear as inconsequential to the indicator. So think about this. If you are attempting to taste a nice fine wine, are you going to be able to taste it better just by itself after you've had, several glasses of wine before it? Or are you going to be able to do it with a mouthful of Pop Rocks? All right, that's what this is. This is a mouthful of Pop Rocks. You have a flavor profile that is just so extreme that any subsequent nuance of the following move is going to be completely drowned out by your previous readings, all right? So, it's kind of hard to read trend, because, seeing this here, right, that clearly defines trend. We have a clear plume of expansion, and it's nice. Why? Because based on 100 candles of look-back period, right, which is what we define for Wave PM, right? Because we're calculating based on the previous 100 candles. And if we have highly volatile price action within that range, then the result is, we don't really read it. We're getting some vague signals of expansion, but no overexpansion, and we use overexpansion to define trend. So, kind of makes it risky. I would just long here, all right? Why? Because we're directly on top of a long-term support. That's it. We're on support. We're bouncing off of support. We wicked down to it twice here, and we recovered pretty well in the past. Previously, in our last wick, we recovered 7%. I don't know. Maybe we recover 5% here. Why not? right? So just layer buy orders from current price location down to, I don't know, another 2%, and then just have a very, very aggressive stop loss below that. All right, should work out pretty nicely. Risk is minimal. If you're watching this on YouTube, do get your altcoin comments in now so I can check them in a reasonable amount of time. Now, one thing I do want to keep an eye on is breaking beneath the 200 period band, because that would actually cause expansion, comprehensive net expansion for that matter. And I'll just show you what that would look like. All right, let's just change this to 50 and 200. And I can't use my numpad because I'm currently using my numpad for live stream hotkeys. So, can't type as fast as I want. Anyway, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I would like to see how this weights when we actually get comprehensive net expansion. We had a fake out of expansion here, which immediately backtested and rejected at the first available pivot, which was the 130 period 1.25 standard deviation, because that was the longest over expanded period for that relative expansion on the 1 hour chart. Okay? Right, because this was comprehensive net expansion as well, and that was really clean. And, you know, I got an alert at 9:03 around here, and then by the time I logged in to my computer, price was here. So in just a matter of minutes, we saw 4% downside. Right? Well, why? Because we have a defined support, and price action tends to react extremely volatilely when there's very little liquidity in a zone. Okay? All right, let's check those YouTube comments, see what you guys want me to do. 88, please. Let's get right into it. Okay. Looks like we're trending on a higher time frame. All right, so just basic quad CCI and standard settings, Bollinger Bands. Well, we do have a defined overexpansion on this particular value on the 70 period, so I'll just take a look at what that looks like on ACAT. Because right now, what I'm seeing is a lack of slope of probability volatility for that upside move. And while we do have positive weighting and mean period volatility, there is still overexpansion. Yeah, now we've entered a compressionary period for the longest overexpanded period, which does imply resistance around 515 to 520 and a target of 477, which is pretty interesting. We just immediately shot to as soon as that mean reversion condition actually fired. So, yeah, we're currently going to be range bound for ADA between 440 and 520. So if you have the opportunity to long that resistance, or excuse me, long that support or short that resistance, it would be very profitable to do so. All right, looks like that's it for comments today. It has been a pleasure. I will see you all tomorrow at 1 p.m. MST. Thank you for tuning into this live stream, and I love you. I mean that. Not really. Goodbye.